I worried a lot. Will the garden grow? Will the rivers flow in the right direction? Will the earth turn as it was taught? And if not, how shall I correct it? Was I right? Was I wrong? Will I be forgiven? Can I do better? Will I ever be able to sing? Even the sparrows can do it, and I am, well, hopeless. Is my eyesight fading? Or am I just getting old? Am I going to get rheumatism, lockjaw, dementia? Finally, I saw that worrying had come to nothing and gave it up, and took my whole body and went out into the morning and sang. My sermon is Live by the Spirit. Last week's service was a wonderful expression of Christian unity. Thank you to the leaders who worked on it. I enjoyed feeling that I was part of a Christian community who first and foremost believed that the main lesson from Christ was to love. Love God, love your neighbors as yourself. No exclusions. I found Amy sharing about her experience in pursuing ministry particularly heart-wrenching. Her refusal to condemn homosexuality as an abomination has alienated her from other Christians. It was disturbing to have confirmed that so many Christians still treat homosexuality as something to be fixed. Just when you think we are moving forward to embrace the full spectrum of God's children, we are reminded that there are many who are narrow-minded, self-righteous, perverse in their views of others. They accept some, but not all. These, but not those. You, but not me. This morning, my daughter-in-law reported that her Brazilian cleaner son, who just graduated from college at the age of 21, was snatched by ICE while working with his father and has been taken to a detention center in Texas. A 21-year-old man who delivered my granddaughter's birthday cake of Elsa to the house last week, who I met helping his mother when he was on break from college, who attended and helped at their local church, snatched, transported, detained, a prisoner. Imagine how young people who have grown up seeing people of color and women in important positions of power, who have felt accepting of themselves and their own sense of who they are and of others, who are looking forward to a bright future, imagine what today feels like to them. To see reality shifting, to see a world that accepts others become a world that not only condemns others, but snatches them from the street and imprisons them. Imagine how older people who protested in the 50s and 60s feel, seeing their hard-won rights from their efforts rescinded like a magic trick. Now you see them. Now you don't. Imagine how Holocaust survivors might feel today. Are we already in a police state where people need to be hidden in attics to protect them? These are hard times. When Jesus told his disciples to follow him, to not look back, to not take time to say goodbye, to not bury the dead, what did he want? Let's hear the Gospel of Luke 9:51 through 62. When the days drew near for him to be taken up, he set his face to go to Jerusalem, and he sent messengers ahead of him. On their way, they entered a village of the Samaritans to prepare for his arrival. But they did not receive him because his face was set toward Jerusalem. When his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, "Lord, do you want us to command fire to come down from heaven and consume them?" But he turned and rebuked them. Then they went on to another village. As they were going along the road, someone said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus said to him, "Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, of Man has nowhere to lay his head. To another he said, follow me. But he said, Lord, first let me go and bury my father. And Jesus said to him, let the dead bury the dead. But as for you, go and proclaim the kingdom of God. Another said, I will follow you, Lord, but let me first say farewell to those at home. Follow me and look to the future. Stay on the path. Be resolute. Don't seek revenge by wanting to burn a village. Don't be overly concerned with the place you lay your head or the ceremony you use to bury your dead. The way forward is straight ahead, and it is a spiritual journey, a honed life as set out in our second reading from Galatians 51:13 through 25. For freedom Christ has set us free. Stand firm, therefore, and do not submit again to a yoke of slavery. For you were called to freedom, brothers and sisters. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for self-indulgence, but through love, become enslaved to one another. For the whole law is summed up in a single commandment. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. If, however, you bite and devour one another, take care that you are not consumed by one another. Live by the Spirit, I say, and do not gratify the desires of the flesh. For what the flesh desires is opposed to the Spirit, and what the Spirit desires is opposed to the flesh. For these are opposed to each other, to prevent you from doing what you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not subject to the law. And here, of course, they're referring to the Mosaic law, or the law of Moses. Now the works of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, debauchery, idolatry, sorcery, enmities, strife, jealousy, anger, quarrels, dissensions, factions, envy, drunkenness, carousing, and things like these. I am warning you, as I warned you before, those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. By contrast, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There is no law against such things. And those who belong to Christ have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. If we live by the Spirit, let us also be guided by the Spirit. And Jesus said to him, no one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God. No looking back. Now I know many of you live in distress today. You suffer from anxiety, sorrow, worry. You hide it well, usually. You attend meetings, rallies, protests, conference calls, trying to patch together a sense of wholeness. But I know you, like me, are consumed with fear. Fear for our LGBTQT plus family and friends. Fear for our immigrant family and friends. Fear for our military family and friends. Fear for our disabled and disadvantaged family and friends. Fear for our family and friends abroad. Fear for our hard-won democratic advances and rights. Fear for our environment and the health of our planet. We are all suffering. If we live by the Spirit, let us also be guided by the Spirit. And Jesus said to him, no one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God. No looking back. Put your hand to the plow and keep your eyes on the future. What we had may be gone, but we cannot focus on that. When speaking of nonviolent resistance, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote, another basic thing we had to get over is that nonviolent resistance is also an internal matter. It not only avoids external violence or external physical violence, but also internal violence of spirit. And so at the center of our movement stood the philosophy of love, the attitude that the only way to ultimately change humanity and make for the society that we all long for is to keep love at the center of our lives. Keep love at the center of our lives. Remember this when the shelf falls down, or the toilet backs up, or the bear rips the sunroof off the car. When the Supreme Court bows out of its responsibility as the third check of power in our democracy. When the U.S. bombs another country. When an acquaintance is snatched illegally.